Marina. I wrote the best-selling book, The Demodex Solution, a 90-day program to balance your gut microbiome and to eliminate mites fast, right? So today I wanted to discuss the topic of Demodex mites, treatment protocols, balancing that microbiome specifically, and also maintaining your health and longevity. So specifically for Demodex mites, I'm going to discuss what they are, how we can treat them, topically, internally, and also can we naturally treat them? Are there any herbal remedies that we can treat them with? Any herbal solutions that we can treat them with from home, or products that we can treat them with that we can buy, but we are sure and confident that they are they're toxic free. They're toxin free, they're naturally based. We don't want to put more toxic substances on our body, on our skin. We don't want to worsen the infection, but we also want to we want to lower inflammation, lower itchiness, irritation, right? So, and a little overview of Demodex mites is that they're microscopic ectoparasites that live in or near hair follicles or sebaceous glands, right? So they can live on your hair shaft, they can live on your face. Sometimes when it gets out of hand, they can also transport into your cavities as well. So like into your ear, you can feel them crawling everywhere, right? I don't want to get more in depth in there because it tends to get more private, right? So mainly they are on our sebaceous glands and on our hair follicles, but there have been cases where we've seen them in oral cavities, ear cavities, as well as other cavities that wherever we have openings, right? So they tend to get into all those cavities if you allow them to, if your body allows them to, right? So the two main species affecting humans are Demodex folliculorum and Demodex brevis. Their habitat, these mites are found predominantly on the face. They're particularly around the eyelashes, eyebrows, and nose. The life cycle and biology of them, right? We want to know how they replicate, what they feed on. When we figure out their cycle, their life cycle, we're able to understand when to add in specific treatment modalities, such as supplementation during their initial embryo phase, or their eggs larva phase, nymphs. So they have different phases, and we can actually use these phases and create treatment protocols based on their phases. And these treatment protocols vary on intensity based on the mite's life cycle, right? So they have a life cycle of 14 to 18 days. These phases of life are first they're eggs, then they become larvae, then they're nymphs, and then they are adults, and it continues to replicate here on out, right? So they tend to leave bacteria when they die as well, and that bacteria can irritate your skin even more. Their reproduction. So mites feed on sebum and skin cells and are most active in darkness, which is when they emerge to mate. So you might feel during night hours that there is a larger, or there's a stronger, more prevalent feeling of itchiness, of irritation during that time frame from, let's say, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. You might be waking up itching. You might be feeling like there's something crawling on you and you're going crazy, right? And you're really not. You're not. They're just Demodex mites awake. This is their sleep cycle and then their reproductive cycle. They have different cycles. And what we can do is use these cycles to our advantage and to eliminate them, use elimination protocols based on this life cycle of a Demodex mite. Some people haven't even heard of a Demodex mite, but these mites are active parasites on our skin, and they're parasites only when they replicate, when they are too prevalent on our skin. They are usually very, very friendly with us. They play a large role on our skin, in our skin ecosystem. Just like candida, just like bacteria, we need these bugs, we need this microbiota, we need these bugs on our skin so we are balanced, so that our body feeds on little pathogens, so that we're balancing out our body, and we stay healthy, and our immune system is heightened, and we're able to fight off other pathogens, right? The moment that one of the bugs on our skin becomes has a larger prevalence, a larger percentage, then is when we would call it pathogenic or a parasite, right? So the epidemiology of it, Demodex mites are common, with prevalence increasing with age. So you might be a little bit older, right? The demographic might be a bit older in regards to the of those of you who might have these mites, right? Demographic might be from, let's say, 40 to 80 years old, 40 plus, maybe even older. And it depends on your immune system. So I'm saying 40 plus because your immunity tends to fall once you become older. Adults are estimated to host at least a few mites, right? Nearly all adults are able to. We actually have a test for Demodex mites. We take a very simple test, actually, that you can order online, and you take a piece of tape and you put it on your face. You stick it onto your face, and then you look at it under a microscope, and you will see, if not one, maybe two mites on your skin crawling, right? And that's healthy. That's a healthy demographic of mites on your skin. Transmission is an important one. So the question, are Demodex mites contagious, right? Transmission is likely through direct contact or sharing personal items like towels. So couples might have them. Couples might have a lot of things, a lot of similar conditions, because they transfer over to each other. They have intimate contact with each other, physical contact. And most couples, they do tend to absorb each other's illnesses in that regard, right? So let's say I have candida overgrowth, right? Which I personally, from time to time, I do suffer from, and I have suffered from. And simply because of my diet and lifestyle, I was able to put it in remission. Like candida, I was getting my boyfriend sick, right? Or you know, a person who is sensitive to certain cells, they can actually become allergic to it. There in the book, The Yeast Connection, I believe, it discussed transmission between couples, and it might cause anxiety in a relationship, even because of the lowered immune system reaction that happens in that regard between transmission of bugs between couples, and then the lowering of the immune system of one partner and then the other one, and then it causes anxiety, brain fog. As you know, candida does all of that. Candida could cause brain fog, anxiety, mental illness as well. So that could be one of the reasoning behind why couples have anxiety between each other, right? I don't want to get too deep into it. It can become a little bit out of this world, right? It might not make sense at this moment in time, but it's very important to consider, at least, right? And not to think of yourself as crazy or as a maniac or put a label of a mental illness on yourself, right? That's an unnecessary thing to do, right? Many individuals harbor mites without symptoms, right? Like myself, I sometimes might feel crawling sensations, and I know I have a prevalence of mites. It's 4 a.m. I am feeling crawling. Okay, those are Demodex mites. Maybe I had a little bit, something's wrong with my immune system right now, right? Symptomatic infestation, right? So meaning symptomatically, are you feeling itching, redness, scaling on your skin, blepharitis, eyelid inflammation? These can lead to demodicosis or Demodex-related dermatitis. So these are all very correlated. I don't know which one leads to the other. I know for a fact that Demodex mites, when there's a prevalence, there's more irritation on the skin. We can always take a microscopic examination if you'd like to test out and see if Demodex mites are actually causing your condition. It is always a matter of understanding yourself, your body's reaction, testing your body, seeing what's causing this itchiness, seeing maybe I ate something that I'm allergic to, maybe there's something I'm sensitive to, being intuitive with what your body is asking you of, understanding that the body needs balance. Let's get into topical treatments, right? So what the main goal for the Demodex solution, the Demodex program, is the topical treatments and treatments internally, oral medications or oral supplementations that are combined with topical treatments. That I can't stress enough. With my book, with my teachings, you cannot get rid of any of your illnesses fully, or the root cause fully, and stay healed, stay in remission for years, for the rest of your life, let's say, hopefully, without balancing your microbiome, without understanding that you need to balance, you need factors that will help balance your microbiome, that will cause your skin to heal from within to the from heal your skin from within, right? We need to follow the Demodex lifestyle. Use the Demodex mite cycle. Use the cycle of the mite, reproductive cycle, their growth cycle, and use that to our advantage and to eradicate them in that way. This is similar to Candida protocol, not the same because both have extremely different life cycles, right? Candida forms completely different byproducts, right? Like acetaldehyde, it starts sticking to your gut lining, right? You need specific products to help unstick that from your gut lining. Also, what's important is that Demodex, they have byproducts. They have bacteria that comes out of them, correct? So we need to understand that that bacteria that we get rid of, we're fighting that bacteria and we're fighting those mites. So they are very different treatment protocols, even though they have a bit of similarity, right? As you know, there is tea tree oil that has mitocidal effects. We use these concentrations, let's say the 5 to 10% concentration in formulas. Metronidazole, an antibiotic, right? Ivermectin as well, but those are strong prescription antibiotics, right? Oral medications, they, like I have said before in my previous videos, oral medications, they might help short term. They will help short term. But if you are not following your intuition and your diet and the protocols that you need, then you will have a reoccurrence of them, unfortunately, right? So we can try, and many of you might have tried those oral ivermectins, those oral medications, right? And have not seen success with them. Maybe for the first time, but you haven't seen success with them long term. The best factor to consider initially during the Demodex protocol is reducing sugar intake and high glycemic foods. What can those be? What are those? That is going to be whatever spikes your blood sugar more, like rice, like bread, any flour, any gluten, any high starch foods, let's say sweet potatoes, anything high carb like that, right? We don't want that. Butternut squash, we love it, but it is still high starch. We want to get rid of that. High sugar, even some berries, you might be reactive to berries, you might be reactive to any fruits, right? So we want to get rid of all of those sweets, anything that spikes our glucose. What I would recommend is, if you're able to, if you have insulin resistance, if you are prone to diabetes, is getting a continuous glucose monitor. I think that is vital. I think that is crucial in figuring out what's spiking your glucose, because all of us have different genetic markers and factors that contribute to spiked blood sugar. So all of us can have a blood sugar spike for many different foods on different levels. And we want to see what personally we are reacting to. All of us have a different genetic makeup. We can create certain dietary protocols. We can give you generalized foods that help, that spike your glucose, spike the glucose of the majority of the population, correct? And we can do that. But personally, if you want to figure out your condition, what's happening to you, is getting a continuous glucose monitor and monitoring exactly what you're eating and what's spiking your blood sugar, right? That's important. But the reason why many have asked, why stop eating sugar? How does Demodex correlate with sugar? That's so weird, right? So what I have figured out was that the more sebum we have on our skin, Demodex mites, they proliferate because of the sebum. Let me go ahead and take a few steps back and say, what do Demodex mites eat? What do they eat? What does Candida eat? Why does Candida grow? Demodex mites eat sebum. Demodex mites live in sebaceous glands in the hair shaft, where there's more oil for them to eat. This oil, where does this oil come from? Increased sugar intake. The sebum usually comes from insulin resistance, increased sugar intake, a high sugar diet. We want to balance that sebum. We want to balance our body. We want to balance everything on our body. And that starts with eating a balanced diet, a low sugar diet, right? So, healing remedies for managing itchiness and inflammation. There are many products out there that claim to help with Demodex mite proliferation, right? But they seldom help long term. Some, they claim they're herbal, they claim this, they claim that. But we need to look at the ingredient list. We need to start reading the ingredients, understanding what we are using. We can't use those marketing tactics that businesses use to put on their labels. So let's say the label says natural herbal blend. Is it really, you should ask yourself, is it really a natural herbal blend? Look at the ingredient list. Look at what they're using. Understand, let's say 20 different toxic ingredients. Have those on the top of your head and see if they're in there, right? That's when you'll know if it's toxic or not, right? So some ingredients that are helpful for Demodex mites would be, of course, tea tree oil. But not all the products have just tea tree oil. They need to be diluted. That oil needs to be diluted. We can also use neem oil. That is very helpful in it's an antimicrobial, antiparasitic substance. It has amazing qualities. It's effective against a variety of skin issues. It's a neem oil extract. It can be applied to your skin. It's often diluted with a carrier oil to lessen the skin irritation, right? Same as tea tree oil, we're trying to lessen the skin irritation. We can use chamomile. As you know, chamomile is very calming, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, soothing effects. It can feel, you can apply like a short-term topical solution, cooled chamomile tea to the skin, or using skincare products containing it, right? Licorice root, we have an herbal tea that contains licorice root. The reason being is because you can actually drink licorice root and you can apply it on your skin. So there's a product called glycyrrhizin found in licorice root. It has anti-inflammatory and immune boosting properties. That might be a reason why many people, they crave black licorice. They have more of that substance in there. Licorice root extract can be applied topically in a gel or cream foam. So that's one useful substance we can use. Also, it can be used as an herbal tea blend, right? Calendula we can use. It's anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial as well. Also, creams and ointments that can be used in that regard. There are many creams and ointments that we can use. Make sure when you're using a product, check the ingredient list. See what's in it. You know, are there toxic substances that can be affecting your body even more? You know, I have tried a few products that have helped, of course, in that regard. And I will list them in the description below. A few products that I enjoy. Also, the Might Medic, the brand, they also, we also have that. We also have soaps. We also have those products, but they're naturally based, more naturally based. They're handmade. So we really look at the ingredients. We really add in the right ingredients. We're not mass producing them. Shampoos, the herbal teas that we sell under the Might Medic brand, those are all handmade. The teas, they're all handmade, hand mixed. Everything is put together to really take care of the patient, to really show care, and to create solutions that help you long term. They're very high quality. You know, some companies, they sell for a very high price and low quality. Ours, we can say, is definitely handmade, definitely high quality, made in America, of course, but it's Demodex mites. They're a topic that should be discussed continuously. We are continuously researching Demodex mites. We are continuously partnering with people. We would love to have more and more patients come up to us and inquire as well. And we are spreading the word about this condition. And it's been an honor. So please reach out if you have any questions. Please do not hesitate, because we are here to spread the word. I'm here to discuss mite infestations, mite proliferations, and how they are affected, how we treat these infestations. Humans have them, and every human has them. And let's get to the bottom of them together. Let's do more research. Let's get more funding for this research. Let's get on more podcasts. Let's spread the word, guys. And I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next week.